Terraforming. It's an idea we usually think of about other planets, of making the terrain and atmosphere habitable for us humans. But is it perhaps that we are being terraformed ourselves? As a planet and perhaps as a species, and maybe have been in the past so that we ended up in a Goldilocks zone, and with the physiology we have today. The Martian 2015, showing how a human tries to sustain himself and grow things when stranded on Mars, giving a rather bleak and harrowing view of a futile-looking landscape to try and survive in. Transformers. I guess the clue is in the name there, but part of the storyline for the films was that they would try and transform Earth into a machine world. The Matrix, 1999. The film insinuated that the setting for the human battery farm was actually Earth, and that it had been changed along the way, starting with a battle for supremacy. We don't know who struck first, us or them, but we do know it was us that scorched the sky, and at the time, they were dependent on solar power. Makes me think of how today there appears to be plans afoot to obscure the sun, because what that movie failed to mention is that humans are also dependent on the sun, as are all other topside living organisms. Many are starting to notice that something isn't quite right with up there. Oblivion. The Tet, a vast machine that appeared to be helping to take the last resources from Earth to a new home for humans. The lie that kept the cloned humans in the dark and working to help achieve that aim, all the while being used and deceived for something else's greater good. Sound familiar? And perhaps there is a type of terraforming that occurs in the mind too, laying the foundations for immense structures and confusion and fear to be built and maintained mentally, in a personal metaverse for each person. Terraforming, where a terrifying reality takes shape, but only in your mind, and is well equipped to run with it, facilitate and enhance it, using imagination and emotions to nurture and sustain it. Being terraformed, so that we do our own terraforming, believing, like with the Tet, that we are trying to escape the world collapsing around us, when it appears humans are the ones helping to collapse it. This is why I guess many people look to those in power with a somewhat different view, and ask whether they are in fact normal humans, as there appears something so very sinister and vacant about many now, and it's noticeable. And it could just be that people find it hard to really believe and understand that other humans can be that dark and nasty and calculated, which of course they can. But there is also something else, a bit darker and a bit weirder, that seems to be playing out these days, so all ideas are being considered.